Hi there and welcome to this week's update. This one is kindly sponsored by my farrier, Redouane Onouni. He makes fantastic sculptures out of all sorts of things, welding them together and using his skills as a blacksmith and in forging to do it. As you can see, William has been given the freedom of no head collar this week. He's in his natural state, shall we say. As you can see, sporting quite a lot of mud. He's been enjoying himself in the field. So just to prove that, you know, posh event horses also get muddy. We've had a bit of bad news this week. For a while now, William's been just, you know, every so often I think he's not quite right, he's not at his best, and I find his coat isn't looking fantastic this year. And I decided, you know, with badminton as our aim for the spring, I can't keep either sort of, you know, waiting for him to feel right, giving him too many easy days a week, or, you know, ignoring it and just sort of keeping going if something isn't right. So a friend of mine, a fellow eventer, took me to a vet that basically put her horse, which had been written off, back on the road. And he's got a very holistic approach. He's going to sleep on my shoulder. He was a right character, I must say. Reminded me a bit of Wurzel Gummidge, but he felt that the horse had a debilitating amount of pain coming from his digestive system. We had him scoped for ulcers last year, and it was completely clean. He said it's not necessarily ulcers; he just thinks it's a very high level of acidity, and it's been going on a long time, and he's just reached such a high level. You know, he's gone past his tolerance points, and that's why, you know, often he was coming out and he just wasn't feeling right and that he couldn't move properly. And it also explains why he's been so sensitive about girthing up. I mean, he's always been a bit snappy, you know, so he's been quite happy to take a chunk out of me, which I'm sure doesn't surprise regular viewers. But this, you know, he was really getting so that he was almost having a panic attack every time I girthed him up. I'm just going to show you a picture of all the girths I've tried, just to show that, you know, I've been trying to find a solution for him. Right, these are the dressage girths I've tried. Basically, both my dressage and my jumping saddle require a short girth, so I can use the same girth for both saddles if that's what suits him best. First up, these are two normal dressage girths. The first one is a bit padded, the second one is extremely thin. Different lengths, but other than that, not a huge amount of difference between them. That one there, the big one, that is my Tolga cross-country girth. It's shaped like that to protect the stomach of the horse when they're jumping with studs, so that they don't stab their stomachs with their studs. So I think, you know, it's an essential piece of kit. However, you know, I've also tried it on a, shall I say, non-jumping, you know, normal basis, because one would assume that it also distributes the pressure of the girth a little bit more. And then the top one, that's pretty interesting. That's a girth that has been lent to me by a friend to try. The bit in the middle is a rubber pad which helps grip. The grey bits are elastic, and actually it's entirely made of elastic. The whole thing stretches. So although if you compare it to the others, it looks tiny, but it does actually, it elongates quite a lot, and I end up on the top holes on both my saddles with this girth. That makes me slightly uncomfortable, I must say. I've only used it for hacking and gentle schooling, because I'm just not quite comfortable enough to jump in it. The vet prescribed me some homeopathic remedies, which is to help start sort of, you know, unblocking everything and detoxifying him. And no. And he also prescribed a stomach supplement, which helps calm the stomach and control the amount of acid produced, which it stinks to high heaven. How he can eat it, I don't know, but he does, so that's good. Yeah, he's got to, you know, have that to the end. They don't contain any banned substances, so potentially he can compete on them. The guy wants William to have 3 easy weeks with no stress and no jumping proper fences, no fitness work, no galloping. So as you can imagine, that rather puts some mockers on, you know, our season's preparation. At the moment, I've told myself, you know, badminton's off the cards, and we'll look at summer 3 starts as our main aim. and possibly trying to get on one of the new Nations Cup teams in eventing. However, he did ask to see him and check him up in 3 weeks, which is just before the closing date for badminton, and we'll have to see. You know, it may be, if he has a good base level of fitness, that it's still a possibility, but I'm just going to tell myself it's not, and then it's a pleasant surprise if it is. So that's how things stand at the moment. I was hoping, you know, seeing as Red, my farrier, is sponsoring this week's video, I'd like to show you a little bit of what he does. This is a picture of a present he made me for Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's typical of many of the sculptures he makes. A little horse made out of horseshoe nails jumping a cross-country fence, which is quite clever. See, stop talking about William and he goes away. Unbelievable. William, come here. Come here. Good boy. Yeah, everyone's still looking at you. Now, I'd also like to show you a bit of footage, which you might find quite interesting. Here he is, you know, preparing the shoe, getting it ready to go on William's foot. And the important thing is the shoe is made to fit the horse's foot, not the horse's foot is made to fit the shoe. And here you see him preparing the stud holes where our lovely super studs will hopefully be being screwed in before the next
Ils ont fait l'expérience à mon le soir, en fait, ils utilisent maintenant plus que ça, mais quand c'est par exemple des trous qui viennent de l'extérieur, ils mettent pas ça parce que ça fait pas bon genre.
And here you see him actually putting the hot shoe against the hoof, and it creates a lot of smoke and it looks very impressive, but it's the hoof, the end of the hoof wall where he's using it is dead, so the horse doesn't feel anything. They can be a bit alarmed by the smoke, but they don't feel the heat. And and it really helps get the fit perfect and sort of seal the hoof. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. I'm sorry it hasn't been the best news, but it's, you know, that's the way it is with horses, and he's only 11, so I want to preserve his long-term fitness, and if it means giving him a bit of time now, obviously 3 weeks feels like the end of the world at the moment, but in the grand scheme of things 3-4 weeks is not a long time, so you know, he'll get a chance. Thanks for watching, bye.